According to many historians, one of the most important reasons for the growth of the Ottomans in a short time was to find him in a geography with weak neighbors. The Ottomans, who turned this situation into an advantage, obtained many lands both by sword and by political marriage bond. They were able to intervene in the internal affairs of their neighbors through marriages. One of the fruits of such a political marriage was Şehzade Halil. At the beginning of the 14th century, after the civil war between Emperor Andronikos II and his grandson Andronikos III, Andronikos III came to the throne. However, the new emperor preferred not to deal with state affairs other than war and entertainment. And he left all state affairs to Ioannis Kantakouzenos, who served as the commander of the army, as well as his longtime friend and played an active role on his side in the civil war. 3. As long as Andronikos was alive, John Kantakouzenos ruled the country very well. When the Byzantine Emperor Andronikos III died in 1341, his 9-year-old son Ioannis Palaiologos became emperor. Due to her young age, her mother, Empress Anna, assumed the regency. In this period, Ioannis Kantakouzenos, who was the army commander and had a wide influence, also tried to have a say in the administration again. Meanwhile, the presence of a child on the throne mobilized the Serbs, Bulgarians and Ottomans. Thereupon, Ioannis Kantakouzenos set up an army and advanced towards Thrace and made peace with all three sides. But while he was gone, Empress Anna and her companions took action and had the mansion of Ioannis Kantakouzenos plundered. And John declared that all the powers of Kantakouzenos had been taken away. However, there was something that the empress did not take into account. Ioannis Kantakouzenos had an army that he had built himself. This army immediately proclaimed John Kantakouzenos emperor. Now the civil war had begun and the parties began to seek allies for themselves. Although Ioannis Kantakouzenos applied to many places, he could not get the result he wanted. Finally, in 1345, he wrote to Orhan Bey and stated that he wanted to meet. In the meeting, the parties had also married Ioannis' daughter Theodora and Orhan Bey, in addition to the agreement. With the help of Ioannis Orhan Bey and a trick he arranged, he managed to enter Istanbul on February 3, 1347 and took over the administration. However, he declared the junior heir to co-emperor on the condition that he would run the administration without holding grudges. In return for the agreement, Orhan Bey, who had abolished the Qureshi Principality a short time ago, occupied some places by transferring his soldiers to Rumeli under the command of his son Suleiman. The emperor also turned a blind eye to this situation. Prince Halil was born from this marriage between Orhan Bey and Emperor Ioannis Kantakouzenos' daughter, Theodora, in 1346. Şehzade Halil was the youngest among Orhan Bey's sons. While there is no information in Ottoman sources about the life of the prince, the Byzantine historian Nicephorus Gregoras described the subject in detail in his work. Gregoras narrated that the 10 to 11-year-old prince was kidnapped by pirates while he was boating around Bosporan and was taken to Foça. At that time, Old Foça was subordinate to Byzantium, and Halil's abduction was most likely the work of Byzantium, which was disturbed by the Ottoman advance in Rumelia. After hearing about the kidnapping incident, Orhan Gazi applied to Ioannis Palaiologos, the Byzantine emperor. Orhan Gazi, who supported his opponent only a few years ago, had to ask for help from Ioannis Palaiologos after this incident. At the beginning of 1357, Ioannis Palaiologos, who deposed the co-emperor Mateios Kantakouzenos, son of Ioannis Kantakouzenos, and sat on the imperial throne alone, used this situation as a trump card against the Ottoman Empire. The emperor, who went to Foça with several ships in the first place, returned empty-handed due to the high ransom amount demanded. After this development, Orhan Gazi had a meeting with Emperor Kadikoy on the coast. However, this meeting was not face-to-face. The emperor had come to the Maiden's Tower, which is not far from the Kadikoy coast, and had a meeting with the men he had sent by boats. In this meeting, promises were taken that after the liberation of Prince Halil, the Byzantine emperor would marry his daughter Irene and that he would ascend to the throne after Orhan Gazi, and it was also discussed that the debts of Byzantium would be erased. Orhan Gazi, who accepted all the offers made, was left with not many options to save his beloved son. Finally, the emperor, who moved to Foça in 1359, met with the Genoese-supported Byzantine Tekfur of Foça, Leo Kolothetos, and handed over 100,000 Byzantine gold to Orhan Gazi in Izmit by taking the prince with various gifts. Again, in Gregora's account, no raiding activities were carried out in Rumeli during this 2-year captivity. Prince Halil was brought to Izmit in the following years and was engaged to Irene, the daughter of the Byzantine emperor. Thus, he became a groom to the Byzantine palace. 2 sons, Gunduz and Omer, were born from this marriage. Meanwhile, Şehzade Halil was declared a candidate for the throne by his father Orhan Bey. However, Şehzade Murat did not recognize this decision of Orhan Bey. The notables of the principality also supported Murat. Murat was a warrior character and the forces of the principality were behind him. When the dates showed 1362, Orhan Bey died and the struggle for the throne began. Byzantium was on Halil's side. But Şehzade Halil lost the fight. And he was killed along with his sons. Unfortunately, there is no source available regarding his death. His death in the same year with his children and the fact that Sultan Murad I came to the throne made these deaths suspicious. For this reason, according to some historians, he rebelled in the first year of Sultan Murad's reign and was killed for this reason. The abduction of Şehzade Halil and the events that followed once again revealed how the political marriages between Byzantium and Osmanagulari were a decisive factor in state policies. Osmanagulari, who made such marriages with the Anatolian principalities in the following years, increased their influence and dominated both in Anatolia and Rumelia thanks to these marriages. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until we see you in the next video, take care and goodbye.